how it goes from feast to famine for the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist, as you know, they're becoming older. They're becoming the aging narcissist. And I don't really care if you're referring to the person in their 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up to past their century mark. The narcissist, if they reach a certain age, yes, they do become the aging narcissist. And when the narcissist is younger, they can feast on supply sources, or they used to be able to feast like nobody's business. This is before the internet, it's before the smartphones, and it's before you figured out what narcissism was. You see, the narcissist had the run of this planet called Earth for centuries, eons, if you will. That tide, that shift is now insurmountable against the narcissist. And the narcissist was feasting on supply sources, on people's energy, their mindsets, their hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, relationships, health, hobbies, and more. And that's all turning into a drought. It's turning into a famine for the narcissist. Now, if you think about what I'm sharing, and you notice that I've been sharing this similar mindset for a few weeks on the channel, and I shared with you earlier that in videos the last couple weeks, that I'm going to be changing some of the perspective that I'm sharing with you, not only referencing what is gaslighting, stonewalling, triangulation, etc., but I'm going to be unpacking a whole lot of different wisdom that you've never heard before anywhere. This is due to my research, it's due to my growth, it's due to my mindset, and it's due to what I've experienced in my life to this point. You see, I am dynamic, I am learning just like you are, but I don't only talk or educate people on narcissism. There's way more to the planet than that. However, narcissism is what brought you and I together. And narcissism is exactly why you have to heal from that relationship, because this is the relationship you need to heal from. And that's why you need to learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle. And that's why you need to eventually go no contact with that person or those people. You need to block them. You need to delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys, and anybody associated with them. If not now, when? So way back when, before you knew what narcissism was, the narcissist was feasting on multiple supply sources. Now remember, what is supply? It can be a pet, it can be a trip, it can be a person, it can be a phone call, it can be a phone, it can be acknowledgement, it can be not acknowledging something, it can be attending an event, it can be not attending an event, it can be buying a lavish gift for an average birthday, it can be sending a Feliz Cumpleaños 99-cent mug at the dollar store that was broken in 3 different pieces, super glued back together, and gifted that for a milestone birthday. Any way you look at it, supply is what the narcissist needs, because the narcissist cannot just be. They cannot ever, and I mean ever, go 4 minutes without supply. Now, this is why the narcissist is on their smartphone. This is why they're always on the go. This is why they won't change. It's why they can't introspect. It's why they won't be accountable. And it's also why there's a huge void, a huge hollow hole inside of the narcissist. And that supply, that hole, the void, must be filled with supply. And when the narcissist had run of the planet, and this is all accurate, if you're not certain, you need to figure out when you figured out what narcissism was. And I can assure you, it was in the last couple of years, or after the smartphone was invented, or the interwebs, there's not a doubt about it. But this is when the tide began to turn for the narcissist. Not only when you figured it out, but when the collective consciousness of the planet began to shift its energy. And for me, this happened almost 6 years ago. It happened when I started the channel, if you want the truth, which was March 31st, 2021, but a little bit before that, actually, when I began to really do the deep dive at post-discard on narcissism. Fast forward to today, April 11th, 2026, here we are. I am now standing in a forest of abundance. Wherever you are either at the mountaintop of indifference, the pinnacle of indifference, or you are working to get there, which is where I'm standing. Now, having said all those things, the narcissist knows in this day and age, they know that the feasting days are over and that they are not returning ever for people to be approached and attacked, if you will, or taunted, or stalked, or spied on, the way that the narcissist used to do these things. You have to go back in time. Remember, the narcissist knew who they were the minute you met them. The narcissist knew who you were once they spent a little bit of time with you. You never knew who you were because you had to lose yourself to find yourself, and you probably didn't figure out who you were until that relationship was over. It was finished, possibly via the discard, and then you had to really look back within yourself. which is something you weren't doing your whole life. Guilty as charged, right here. I was a people pleaser. I was a yes person. I was committed to virtually anybody who asked me to do anything most of my entire life. What happens? The apex predator, the narcissists, plural, the dark energy, was surrounding me. And eventually what happened? I got too close to the dark energy, and the rest is history, which is why I create videos to pay it forward each and every day to help out people who need help. They need support. They need answers to questions that they have, and many answers to questions they don't even have the ability to ask the questions yet. But that's why I pay it forward, because at one point I was the new supply source, as were you. The last person on the planet you want to be is the new supply. That is the last person you want to be. And you may think, well, no, the new supply is living their best life and they're traveling all over the planet and jet setting and all the fancy filters, and they've got all the clothes and the champagne's flowing from the champagne flute and everybody's singing Kumbaya with the narcissist. Well, that's appearance. You should know this by now. Everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet called Earth. And the narcissist knows this. That's why they are two different people. Truth be told, they're more like 10,000 different people at any one time. But for this example, they're two people. They're one person in general public when they put their game face on and they act like they're so kind and loving and everybody cares about them. And then behind closed doors, they rip the mask off, smash it to the ground, and they abuse whoever's in the household with them. Doesn't start or stop and end with the household. It could be a moving car. It could be a text when the narcissist is on a business trip, wink, wink, for a couple days, and they got stranded, but they weren't even on the business trip. They were shacked up with somebody they were cheating on you with. You never know where the narcissist was when they weren't with you, and even when they were with you, you will never know where they were, because they were living a period of time when they were with you of feasting on supply sources. Now, I'm going to tie it all together right here. Fast forward to right now. The narcissist you're considering, most likely by now, has had other supply sources that you did or didn't even know about. As you're healing, the narcissist is still searching or scouring, slithering their way through this planet looking for other supply sources. Now remember, as I shared with you earlier, the narcissist used to feast. They used to be able to snap their fingers and people would say, the narcissist would say jump and people would say how high. Well, that doesn't happen anymore at all. And you may think, well, yeah, it really doesn't happen, but why? The reason why is because I've healed, you're healing, the collective consciousness of the planet's getting stronger. Most people on this planet are learning boundaries, whether they were directly affected by the narcissist or indirectly, because everybody's affected by the narcissist. Every single person who's ever lived on this planet called Earth, one way or the other, has been affected by narcissism directly or indirectly, any way you look at it. But having said that, now we are in the days of famine for the narcissist, and you cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube, which means the feasting days are over. They're finished, and they are not returning ever again for the narcissist. And you'll notice the airplane going above, because the narcissist knows that I'm right and that you have done your part or you're doing it, and they don't want this message to get out, which is why I just filibustered for about 11 seconds. Now I'm back on track. The famine days are here. This is good for you. It's not good for the narcissist. Now, I don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now, but if a parasitical creature, yes, the narcissist, was feasting on you like they were with me for quite a long period of time, and all of a sudden the tide has turned, and you are now riding that wave of abundance, you're riding that wave of authenticity, and you've gone no contact, blocked that person, deleted them, etc., then you understand that famine is the inevitable path of supply sources for the narcissist. Meaning, the narcissist is getting choked out of what they need, which is supply. You've done your part, or you're doing it. I've certainly done my part, and I will continue to do it for the rest of my days on the planet. And this will help insulate and protect the empath, the kind, loving, stable, healthy person, and it will not help the narcissists, plural, or the dark energy. I'll refer to the narcissist as dark energy for the rest of this video. You see, the dark energy needs to feast. They need as much supply as they can get their grubby little fingers on. And this is what they were doing, like I shared, since time began. And they did it until you figured it out. When you figured it out, that's when you were meant to figure it out. Remember, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You finally got the message, you cracked the code, you found the needle in a haystack, and now you're applying the tools that I provide for you with each and every day, with every video I create, and from all the amazing, insightful, and intuitive comments from all over the planet. As you went no contact and blocked the narcissist and implemented boundaries and maintained them and adhered to them, that's one less person that the narcissist can approach or attack or try to lure into a web. As I did my part, you did your part, and now other people are doing their part. There are multiple streams of communication or supply sources that are being shut down all over the planet. This is a growing movement. This is a legitimate movement of abundance, of growth, of authenticity, and of boundaries. Remember what I shared with you. The narcissist had full run of this whole planet. They could have done whatever they wanted to, and believe me when I tell you, they did. You look at any of the old history books, whether you believe the exact connotations that were written in the history books or not, it's up to you, but you'll see narcissism littered all over the history books. And who do you think wrote those history books? Ding, ding, ding. You're getting it now. Everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet. Every single thing needs to be investigated. It needs to be researched. It needs to be looked into, which is why I'm doing the deep dive here, specifically in this day and age, as I've been doing for quite a long period of time, because I am building on my educational level and value, not only exclusive to narcissism or mindset or empathy or humanity or to energy, but to so many other things. And that's why I'm paying it forward and creating this video today. So when the narcissist eventually goes from feast to famine, this happens to every one of these people. And you may think it doesn't. It does. And I'll prove it to you right now. Why do you think the narcissist is always looking for the next new shiny object or the next new relationship to enter and blow up? It's because they can't be satiated or satisfied with any one thing, which includes relationships. Why do you think the narcissists try to steal all of your money? Yeah, they did try to steal your money, and I'm sure they hit it too. And I'm sure they blew through your money. Same thing happened to me. Why do you think they did that? Not only because they could, you are correct, but also because they wanted to accumulate your money, but they didn't want you to have it. I'm going to say that part of the video again. They stole your money because that's what they do, but also they didn't want you to have it. That's a whole different reason. Think about a bank robber for a quick second. And no, I'm not a bank robber, and you're not either. You shouldn't be, and that's a crime, and you shouldn't be doing it. What the narcissist does, if you read between the lines, it's akin to that. It's actually worse. But what does a bank robber do? A bank robber robs a bank. Why do they rob a bank? Because they want money. They don't care if the bank has the money. They're thinking the bank has more money to take from. By the way, you shouldn't be robbing banks. Just an example. The narcissist doesn't think that way. What the narcissist thinks is, I'm going to take your money because I don't want you to have it. And also, if I take it, you don't have it, and you can't elevate. You can't put yourself back together. Play that part of the video and play it multiple times. There are so many different layers of the onion to be peeled back. Just when you peel one back, there will be 3 more that need to be peeled back. You peel back any one of those 3, there are 5 more layers of the onion. You peel back one of those, there are 10 more. That's why this is a constant search for education. It's a constant quest for wisdom and understanding. And that's why you need to wrap your head around this one fact, and I'll get ready to close the video. You can't change the narcissist, no matter what you think. Number 2, the narcissist never loved you, no matter what you think. Number 3, they don't care about anybody. Number 4, they did have a feast, not only with you and with me, but with any fuel source they had. Until when? You got it. Until they didn't. And that's why all of these people, all these dark energy sources, they go through sporadic periods of time of famine. You may not have ever even thought that, but it's true. Why do you think the narcissist has to groom people? Why do you think there's such a thing as the trauma bond? Why do you think there's such a thing as the narcissistic fog? Why do you think there's gaslighting? Why do you think there's triangulation? Why do you think there are rage fits? Why do you think there's ghosting, mirroring, projection, and on and on and on? It's because these are all toxic behaviors of a parasitical creature, yes, the narcissist, that they use to weaponize against healthy, stable people who have no idea what's going on. Yes, that's what happened with you. So when you don't know what's going on, and the narcissist does, well, they can feast on anybody they want to. Flip it. When you now know what's going on, because you've watched videos and you've journaled, meditated, and you've put yourself back together, or that's what you're doing, and you reach the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, where I am standing, and there are so many other people standing here waiting to lift you up. when you become one of us, you heal and heal properly, then the narcissist can't do anything to steal your energy any longer. They could try, they could attempt a weak, feeble Hoover, they could try to do whatever they do, but once you get the wisdom, you'll look back and you'll say, oh my gosh, this confirms everything I've learned. These people are pathetic, they're weak, they're shallow, they're hollow, they're callous, and they're stuck in that loop, that endless loop that just keeps going around and around. And what Andrew says is correct, because what I do say is correct, because I lived it. And I know this topic inside and out. Not only do I know it and did I live it, but I pay it forward. And when you understand that the narcissist, every one of these people will go from feast to famine until eventually, let's say down the road, it will probably be more famine to famine because the feasting days will be over. And yes, I mentioned that in yesterday's video. You should check it out and you should watch the last, I would say 8 or 9 days videos in that particular order, because this is the new vein of information I'll be sharing with you. It's not going to be gaslighting exclusively and triangulation, my least favorite thing. I'm going to do a deeper dive, much deeper dive on different nuances, not only on toxic behavior, mindset, energy, empathy, abundance, cutting the 4 ties, the emotional, the financial, the physical, the spiritual tie from the narcissist, but also helping you understand that things don't end well for the narcissist. They sincerely don't. If you think for a minute that the narcissist is at the Bahamas right now in a chaise lounge, drinking Mai Tais, watching the sunset, and they're living their best life, and everybody loves them, and everything's so peaceful and abundant, you really need to play this video and play it over and over and over again. What is going on inside of the tiny little pea brain of the narcissist is what really matters. What it is, it's this. It's confusion. It's chaos. It's anxiety. It's lack. It's uncertainty. It's looking over their shoulders. It's knowing that they're not honest, they're not genuine, they're not forthright, and that they destroy people's lives. That will all catch up with them, which is why this video was when the narcissist goes from feast to famine. The famine days are here for the narcissist. They're not approaching. They're here. Supply sources all over the planet are dwindling. They're shrinking up. They're shriveling up. They're drying up. Again, this isn't wishful thinking. This is reality. There's the airplane again trying to stop the message. I'm going to tell you right now, as you've done your part, and I have, the narcissist has less places to go to. Think about it. It's energy. I'm connected with you. You're connected with me. The narcissist was connected to you. They're no longer connected because you've gone no contact. And that means they have to slither elsewhere to look for somebody to try to replace you. And they will never find a person to replace you. They will be constantly scratching their balding head or their aging face. I'm referring to the narcissist, saying, what happened? It used to be so easy. It's slim pickings out here now. And I'm looking around and there are 4 or 5 different raging narcissists, some that are half my age, trying to attack or approach the same person I'm trying to groom and trap. What's going on? Well, what's going on, raging narcissists, is you are losing. L, losing. F, failure. F, failure. It's all drying up for you, and you know it. So guess what? Enjoy the famine, because the famine's going nowhere anytime soon. And this is in reference to supply. I'm not talking about anything else other than what the narcissist needs. When you go no contact and block that parasitical creature or those people, you've done your part. When you do your part, then you need to maintain your boundaries, and you need to continue to move as far away from the toxic entity as you possibly can, as soon as you can. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. A couple things. One, the feast or famine, that goes back eons, thousands of years. I'm not going to give you the history in it, but it's written in all the old books, the tomes, literally the religious books that whatever religious organization you are and or were a part of, they're littered in those books and a lot of other ones. But the feast and famine, fast forward to today. Look where I am. This is abundance. This is green. This is Mother Nature. This is the ability to just be. Narcissist doesn't have that. The narcissist is now in a desert. They are now searching as hard as they possibly can because they know the famine's here. This is where the narcissist will never be. The lush green, the abundance, not going to happen. They're now in a desert searching for supply. And guess what? They're going to have to keep on withering up, drying away, and wasting away because there's no supply in the desert these days. And by the way, I love the deserts. I just think the narcissist, or I should say I know the narcissist, their days are numbered. They're limited. This is abundance, beauty, growth, and fulfillment and purpose. Where the narcissist is and where they're going, it's nothing but a vast wasteland where there is no supply. And they know this. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.